My name is Justin. I've never done this before, but in 2 months I'm getting married, and I need a wedding ring. Let's try to make one. To start, I obviously needed some kind of material, so I ordered this from a company it's called Damascus steel. Wow. If you don't know what it is, just look it up real quick. And it was only 40 bucks online, which is good because there's probably a good chance that I won't be able to do this, or at least do it to a satisfactory level. And if that's the case, then it's only 40 bucks. And it's already round, so I guess I'm halfway there. But the first thing I need to try to do is to drill a hole through it. And that leaves me with two problems. One, I only have a hand drill. And two, I don't have any way to hold this or fasten this down to drill it. Holding it by hand, that would just be unsafe. So to save you some unwanted rambling, I headed to Home Depot to scavenge for a solution, which I think I found a pretty good one. All right, I've got something, and I feel pretty good about it. Here's my idea. I'll explain. Here's my attempt at making a $5 vise, because I'm cheap. Well, mostly I don't have any money, which by default makes me cheap. You see where I'm headed, right? Not too bad of an idea. Plus, look, it's got a hole in the middle so I can drill straight through it, no problem. And then fasten it down so it doesn't move around. Some bolts, nuts, washer, and some elbow grease. Ah, too short. Ah, yes. Here's what it looks like on the bottom and on the top. Is that a thing of beauty or what? Before tightening everything, I centered the ring billet, so it's pretty much ready to go, but come on, let's look at this thing again. Alright, time to move on. Let's try the drill. Since I'm using a hand drill, I definitely need a good center punch to guide the drill. I'd eventually get there. So for drill bits, I have titanium, and they were working pretty good, but they were just taking forever. And a friend of mine told me to try a cobalt drill bit, so I went back to Home Depot and got one, but it was a little more expensive than I would have hoped. I thought it was gonna be like 10 bucks, 17 bucks. Feels like a lot. It's probably not a lot. I also got some gloves because there's a ton of shards, and I found one in my finger when I was driving, so. Cobalt bit, pretty amazing. This is the one. Something was starting to, yes, my drill. So now I have a hole through it, but it's still a little too small. So now I'm gonna attempt to widen and shape it. This Dremel I'm borrowing from a friend. It was actually my boss, so I better not break it. But you get the idea what I'm trying to do. Setting up this box because there was a lot of metal shards with the drill, and this is my bedroom, so I want to try to keep it metal shard free, if you know what I mean. Anyway, it was a little bit tough using the Dremel, mostly trying to keep the circle a circle, like accurately. Yeah, see, look how bad that is. Huh. Got it on past my first knuckle. So I'm gonna try it with the Dremel sander because that's round, and maybe that can help keep it a little more uniform, because usually it would be round. Pretend that's round. There's parts that are round and then they kind of go out. It's sort of like a little jumbled like that. And so these parts that protrude, they're starting to get shaved down, which is nice. I think I'll be able to smooth out those protruding edges to get more of a uniform circle, since that's what a ring is. Ow! Alright, well, I have it at very nearly my final diameter, but first, this is much too big, much too fat for a ring. It's a 1/2 inch. And also, shh, secret, I'm gonna cut it in half so I can make one for my fiance too. It's not too bad. A little hacksaw, MacGyver vise a little bit, and How's it look? It's a little tough to see here, but it's definitely way too thick. So I need to take the outside down. But to do that, I called up a friend and I was able to get a belt sander. For the amount of metal shards I had with the drill and the Dremel, I decided to take this out to my balcony. Probably should have been doing everything else out here, but here we are. Got a lot taken down on the outside. It's looking pretty good. Here's both of them together. They're still pretty thick, but that's okay because I still have some shaping to do on the outside. I'm gonna make a makeshift ring mandrel that I saw somebody online do. About 3-inch bolt, plastic washers, and then nuts down all the way. All right. So then we'll put the other washer on. Ring mandrel. Secured. To shape it, I cut some strips of sandpaper, and with the drill running at speed, it actually cut through the metal pretty quickly. I was quite surprised and also thankful. I did my best to round out the corners. It was a little tough to get in there with the washer so close, but I was able to do a fairly decent job. Same deal with the wifey's ring. It was a little tougher because it was so thin, but did my best. Now it's on to the inside. Similar idea, but just in reverse. There's plenty of space for me to get in there with some sandpaper. I didn't know what to expect, but I was not expecting this, to be honest. I'm very happy. Hers is pretty much done. I just need to do the acid etching. Mine has a little bit of work to do on the edges. I'm going to put some facets or bevels or whatever you want to call them. Again with the belt sander, but now I'm trying to find a way to MacGyver this thing to sit vertical so I can be more accurate with the bevels. We're ready to do the acid bath. Go. That's probably way too much, but oh well. All right, here we go. Good. And water. Oh, it's already kind of going a little bit. Of course, I decided to do this when it's getting dark. Put it in our baking soda bath. I don't know if you could hear it sizzling or bubbling, but it was. Neutralizing, I suppose. Should be safe to touch now. Dry it off. I really just want to see the lines in it, you know, the grain. I don't want to feel the grain necessarily. I'm pretty happy with that though. It looks like a rock right now. Here we go. Ring in the acid. Some skinnier, it's a little bit harder. Ooh, wow. You see those bubbles going up. Alright, same thing as before. I'm gonna have to get a better camera. Maybe a macro lens or something to show you these. So hang tight. Yeah, I didn't get a better camera. So here's some pictures from my iPhone. Here's the ring before the etching. And here's the ring after the acid etching. And here's a side-by-side. Wow, look at that. And I'm not just saying that because I have to wear this for the rest of my life. I really like it. And here's the rings on our actual hands on our wedding day. Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Yes, I do have a beard now. It's actually 1.5 years later, and I'm finally getting around to finishing this episode. But we're both still wearing our rings, so I guess that's called for a success. My name is Justin, and make wedding rings? I've done that before.